It's almost time. Oh, there he is. There he is. How you doing, Mr. Carmichael? How you doing? If you could send me a request, I really appreciate it. There it is.
Ho ho!
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Carmichael?
Good, man. How are you? Call me Evan. How you doing, man?
How you doing, Evan, man? Thank you so much for making some time for me. I really appreciate it.
I love it. It's happening. Let's go. Let's
Let's
do it, dude.
go, man. Let's go, man. I just want to say, thank you so much. And also, special shout out to Sandra for helping me, curate everything. Shout out to Sandra. And so, how you doing today, Evan?
I'm great, dude. Thursday is my public facing day.
Yeah,
So
I saw your stories.
yeah, normally I'm introvert and just do my work, but
Yes,
but today is podcasts and movement makers and
sir.
IG lives. What does your shirt say, man?
Oh, it says, young, not dumb.
Young, not dumb. Nice.
Yes, sir. Young, not dumb. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm a firm believer that your age doesn't discredit you from doing anything. You know
Dude,
what I'm saying?
that was the biggest thing for me. When I was 19, I had my first company,
Yes, sir.
and I was selling software,
Yeah.
bio software, and science was my worst subject in school.
Yes, sir.
And I was selling to people who were 2, 3 times my age, who had PhDs, and like one of the hardest things in the first year was just feeling like I don't belong, like I'm too young, that they're gonna not believe me, that I don't have the degrees and the PhDs like they do, and it really, really hurt. I wish I had that shirt. I needed that shirt when I was 19, man. I needed
Oh, man. Damn.
that.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. So how did you overcome those feelings at the age of 19? That's a pretty big step for you being so young in front of all these older people.
It took a while.
Yeah.
It took a lot longer than like if I didn't have the mindset, I'm 40 now, right? So that we're talking.
You're still pretty young though, Evan.
Well, it's because I am young.
Absolutely.
The number, dude. But that's 21 years ago. I didn't have, there were no influencers, there's no Instagram, I didn't even have T-shirts that
No
had,
YouTube.
yeah, like none of that. And so for me, it was just having some kind of momentum. So my early first step was I was too afraid to talk to people on the phone.
Yeah.
Because I thought they're gonna know in a second how young I sound,
Right.
and they're gonna ask some question that I'm not gonna know how to answer because I feel dumb, right? Young, not dumb. I feel dumb.
Yes, sir.
So I did everything on email, so that I could always be polite. I could always check. I could always ask my partners if I didn't know the answer to the question. I could always go research it. I did everything over email.
Yeah.
This would terrify me. Not just a phone call, but like a live video.
Yeah, I was so nervous just before this. I always get on a few minutes early, and I was just like, it's not my first time, but I'm so nervous because I'm speaking to someone like you, and I know in your videos you talk about the fact that you get nervous every time you get on in front of anybody and you speak. Dude, as well.
Yesterday I had Matthew McConaughey on my channel.
That's big, man.
We did an interview talking about his book, and dude, so my interview was at 2, yeah. And the whole morning I was a write-off. Like I was trying to work, I was trying to like rehearse and practice how I would introduce him and the questions, but like I couldn't do anything else. Like look at email, make content. Like it was pretty much a waste of a morning because I was so nervous to do the thing. But when you get in, it's not that bad, right? Like now it's not that bad. How do you feel now compared to 4 minutes ago, right?
I feel amazing, man. Your energy is contagious. I feel like you brighten up. You definitely make people feel welcome. So I appreciate
but
that.
It's also you, right? I mean, I think the thing is, what are your options? You either show up and you do the difficult thing,
yeah,
or you play small. Like you could have said, you know what, I'm not feeling so hot today, Sandra. Can you please reschedule? Or right when Matthew was running late from his last thing because he had something to do with his kids, and he showed up 5 minutes late. In those 5 minutes, dude,
so many things was going through your head.
I was like, oh my God, are we not on? Because I got all stressed out for this interview, and now it's not even happening, right? Like it's worse if I said, hey man, I can't do it. I got an emergency or something. It's like all good, understand. We'll do it again, but. It's like, man, I got all stressed out and all worried and all prepared, and then now it's going to happen at some point in the future. Yeah. So I think that like, how do you build the self-confidence and the self-love and the self-respect and actually feel, you know, not dumb, is by doing the thing. It's like by showing up. That the fact that you're afraid, I think the fact that you're afraid is a good sign.
Yes, sir.
Like, it means you're growing. It means you're learning.
Yes,
Whether it's a great result or not, like whether I come on and it's the greatest interview of all time, or I say, dude, I hate people with beards. Whatever. It's like, it's not about the result. It's that you showed up, for this, and that you were nervous and that you stepped in. Like, that takes you to a new level of confidence that didn't exist before.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. Early in the conversation, you mentioned something about momentum, and I know you always talk about momentum in a lot of your videos. And so, you know, Newton's first law talks about, you know, an object that stays in motion, you know, continues in motion. An object at rest, you know, it stays at rest. So how important is momentum for you?
I love this guy. Newton's first law. It's amazing.
Oh, man.
Young, not dumb. That's what I'm
talking about. Young, not dumb, man. Thank you.
What's up? Dude, momentum is everything. The biggest thing that people are missing usually is momentum. We started, so just before this, I was doing my Movement Makers program, and that's where I'm coaching people live twice a month. And part of what we do is when you join in, you've got a 100 video challenge.
Yeah.
People judge themselves way too quickly on something. People make one video and then they watch it back and they say, wow, I suck. I'm never going to do this again. It's like, you only made one video. Why do you expect to be great at the beginning?
Yeah.
But the biggest thing most people are missing is just the push to go, to start, to create, right? And so I asked my group, how many of you were afraid to make your first video, right? And like, everybody puts up their hand.
I was terrified.
Everybody, like, nobody gets in front of the camera and says like, I'm ready to go. I'm going to crush it. Like, everybody's nervous and afraid the first time they're making their video, right? And so part of that is then helping other people. So why we created the challenge in Movement Makers is to, hey, if you're new here, if this is your first time here and you need help, like you want to go live with somebody on Instagram, it's easier to go live with somebody than to go live by yourself and just talk.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right? So we had a new member join. Like, if anybody here is new and you want somebody to go live with you, everybody here in the group will do it. Because we all remember what it was like to be our first time on camera. And so there was one guy, Zen the Man Smith, who does confidence coaching. And I pushed him to make his first video on Instagram Live and showed him how to do it. And since then, he's been doing 2 to 3 a week, every week. It's just this big thing in our heads. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to get started. I don't know what buttons to click. Nobody's going to watch me, or people will watch me. Like, all those stories in our head. The biggest thing missing is just the momentum to get started.
Right.
So use that for yourself and then gift that to other people. If you can gift momentum to other people, like, be the person who believes in people to allow them to get their start, right? Like, part of me doing this was, I want you to have more momentum.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, sir.
Right? It's like, hey, if you're nervous doing it and then you do it, that gives you more momentum. And then if you can now have more confidence to go reach out to other people and have them on your show, that builds even more momentum, right?
Absolutely.
I'm like 1/2% of your success coming back to like this show. That makes you feel great.
Yes, sir.
Right? So I think people are just stuck in their head because we're afraid.
Yes, sir. And so, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, finish. Go. You go.
And so that's very important, right? So, like, you know, minutes before this show, or even like days and weeks, like, you know, sometimes I'm in my head, I'm like, man, what if it doesn't go my way? What if this and this and that? You know, all these different things. Like, I wrote a book and I did it like in 2 weeks, but it took me 2 years to release it, because in my head I'm like, dang, what if it's not good enough? What if nobody likes it? What if nobody, you know, doubt, fear, all these things that, you know, we talk ourselves into. We create these different thoughts in our mind, you know. Have you ever talked yourself into something? Like, you created this false narrative in your mind. Has that ever discouraged you from doing something that you really wanted to do?
All the time, dude.
Yeah.
That's a constant battle. I mean, like, if you don't have anything, I like to say, if you don't have anything in your calendar that makes you scared or gives you anxiety, you don't like your life. Like, if you look at your calendar for the next month and there's nothing in there that makes your heart go like this, you don't like your life. It just means you're photocopying the same day over and over and over and over and over again. So you have to have something in there that scares you consistently. So like you have this, me coming on and that scared you. Great. Like, awesome. Now we're taking you to the next level. How I get through it is two things. The first is the reminder that I do difficult things. So yesterday, this is exactly what I did when I had Matthew McConaughey on. In the hours leading up to it, when I feel the anxiety and the nerves starting to kick in, like I do difficult things. Evan Carmichael does difficult things. I lean into the anxiety. I don't run away from it. And what that does, at least for me, is it gives me more courage. It's like, yeah, heck yeah, that's what I do. Let's go. And so the constant reminder that I do difficult things. And then the second one that, again, helped me yesterday is the serving. I see Angela here in the chat says built to serve. It's serving. It's serving. So it's not about me. Like Matthew coming on my show isn't about me. It's about the audience. It's about I'm a conduit to help other people, to try to take his message and serve people with it. I need to stop being selfish and start serving.
Yes, sir.
And so it's always that balance for me between the I do difficult things is the push. Like go do it. And then the serving is the hug. So sometimes you need more of a push and sometimes you need more of the hug. Yeah. But I balance both of those. Like yesterday was probably more 65% push, I do difficult things, and 35% hug. And on other days it's a different balance. But that's how I get through. And it's still not perfect and I still struggle with it. But at the end of the day, I did the interview. And I showed up as best as I showed up. And I'm pretty proud of what happened. Right?
Absolutely, me too.
It matters. Like, did you do the thing? Did you show up? Right? Whether you got the result or not, like, you showed up for this.
That's always the first step.
That's how you build your confidence, man. That's the momentum that everybody needs.
Absolutely, man. And so, like, so you're an author, right? You have, I believe, 4 or 5 books. You have a journal. You also have 4 other books, right? You're this amazing keynote speaker, right? You have over 10,000 videos, right? Over 300 million views. And I was, reading your bio and everything, and it said that when you were a child, when you were like 3 years old, you had to go to like a child psychologist and everything. You weren't speaking, you were nervous and all these different things. How did someone that was this kid, right? This kid who was nervous, didn't talk to anybody. How did you go from this kid to this amazing speaker right now? Because, I feel like there's a lot of people that have this gift to speak, but one of the biggest things is that they're just afraid to open their mouths. Like, how did you go from little Evan to this big, massive, oh my God, I can do anything, Evan?
My guy's done his homework there. Look at that. I like it. Young, not dumb. Let's go.
Not dumb. Thank you, man.
Dude, I used to, I had really bad hearing problems that was undiagnosed at the beginning. So I had a really hard time in school. And I used to hide under my desk. Like when all the kids would be learning, like in class, I would get out of my chair and sit underneath my desk. And the teacher thought I was stupid. And my parents, like they're on the wall behind me here, right? My parents always supported me. My parents would always say, "Hey, you're not dumb." But teachers, like this teacher just doesn't know how to teach you. But they were worried about me, so I went to a child psychologist, and I don't remember the diagnosis, but I was just playing games and like they talked to you, I guess. I don't know how old I was when I went there. How did I get here? Well, one is it's the constant dose of belief. It took me a long time, dude. I mean, it wasn't easy. I think you could get there a lot faster. I think people watching can get there a lot faster. I think we have a lot more resources. Yeah. It took me 10,000 videos to be here. It's a lot of work, right? I mean, you practice anything 10,000 times, you're probably going to get better. I mean, I hope so. Times, anything, making drinks, tying a shoelace, driving a car, making videos, like anything. You can go back and watch my first video. It's still there on the channel, and you can see how bad it was, how bad I was, how nervous I was. And every month, I've been doing this for a while on Instagram. Every month on the first week of the month, I'll post my numbers from the beginning. Yeah. So what is it now? What month is it? February? So for March, you'll see on like the first Tuesday or so in March, you'll see my journey from March 2010, because April 2009 was my first video, to March 2021. Every month, how I've done. And you see, like at the beginning, 20 subscribers. A year later, 100 subscribers. A year later, 250 subscribers. Like in the first 5 years, there was just nothing. No years.
Yeah.
No growth. Nothing.
But you stayed in motion.
Well, I mean, I was nervous. I wasn't as consistent as I should have been. I was always afraid and shy. And the way to get through it is still you do difficult things and then the focus on serving. And the one thing that really helped me, and legit, I still use this today, but this is the thing I think that saved me the most in those early days, was always focusing on who I had instead of who I didn't have.
Yeah.
Where I think a lot of times we look at a video, you post a video on YouTube, it gets 40 views. And you're like, ah, man, I only got 40 views. Like, why doesn't it have 4,000 views, 40,000 views?
But 40 people still watched it.
That's why I was like, 40 people watched it.
Yeah.
Those are 40 humans. Like if you did a speech in a library or something and 40 people showed up, you'd be nervous.
Yeah. Wow.
That's always been the focus. The goal was never to blow up on YouTube. YouTube wasn't even influencer wasn't a thing when I started.
Yeah.
It was, hey, if 40 people see this, that's cool. And so even now, it's still about the people who are watching instead of the people who aren't. And if you do a good job of serving them, they'll take you to the people who aren't. They'll tell their friends. They'll expose the message. So that more than anything got me through the self-doubt, the struggle, the not feeling good enough, the not needing to be in the limelight. I don't need to be famous. I don't like it. I don't like being the center of attention.
Yeah.
I hate working events, but I want to serve and I want to help. And so that's the best way that I can do it.
Yes, sir. And, speaking about that, these different events and not wanting to be the center of attention, a question that I want to ask is, I was watching another one of your, I believe it was an interview, it was a video, and you were saying that you don't really like, when you're at these networking events, you're not really a person that's going to be like high energy and like, hey, how you doing? So like in your field and for you, just doing your research and, as a speaker and an interviewer as well, how important is networking for you in relationships?
It's important. I struggle with the way most people do it. Yeah. So networking events, I never introduce myself to anybody.
Wow.
Never. Like if you and I were at an event, I mean, I probably wouldn't even be at the event unless I was speaking, right? So I'm speaking there. But what I like to do is I like to create opportunities for people to come and talk to me.
Yeah.
Mostly because I'm introverted and shy and afraid. So I also hate small talk. I don't want to talk about the weather. I don't want to talk about the game last night. Like I want to talk about meaningful things. So when I'm at an event, usually I'm speaking, and I like to be as early as possible a speaker so that I create context for people to know me. Yeah. And then I'll spend if I'm at an event for 4 days, I love being there for the full 4 days. Most speakers will come in, speak, and fly out. I love being there. And I spend most of the time, hopefully I'm speaking on the first day, and then I spend the other 3 days in the lobby. And people come and ask me, like if you came up and said, hey, I saw your speech, man. I got a question. That's the best for me. The one-on-ones, I love that the most. Like that's where you get the impact. And if I can take it a level deeper, and you get some kind of nugget from there that you apply to your life or your show or whatever, that makes me feel amazing. That's why I do what I do. To the point where it's almost unhealthy. Well, I'll just be in the lobby for 16 hours and not eat and like forget to go to the bathroom and run a fever, and I don't even notice it because I'm addicted to the serving.
Yeah, you built to serve.
And some people know who I am now, and they'll say hi and stuff before I speak, but there's still a lot of people who have no idea who Evan Carmichael is. And that's the best part, is to hang out with people in the lobby and to make the connections. So I get a lot of connections, I guess, that way, but it's not my intention to go in and say, I need to meet this person, and if I don't come away from this event with 50 business cards, it's a failure. I suck at that stuff. And I also don't want to get better at it. So my angle is I'm going to speak at the event, and then people will come talk to me. Not because I'm better than you or something, just it gives them context to know who I am, and then we have great conversations. The other thing I've done for networking is anybody who's, I mean, at this point, I've had a good fortune of having people on my show and connecting with them and being in an interview, guys like Tony Robbins and those guys. I suck at follow-up. You know,
that's how I got to speak to you. I followed up with Sandra like 3 times because your schedule was booked up for the rest of the year. So, you know, if you come back, I was like, I emailed her like 3 times every week. And then finally, like a month, like 2 months later, she hit me back. And I was like, yes.
Man.
Follow up.
Dude, well, listen, the hustle gets rewarded. Sure. I suck at follow-ups. So what I do is I make a list of the top, it's probably got 70 people right now on my list of people who I want to stay in touch with.
Yes, sir.
And then every, at least 90 days, like if I haven't been in touch with somebody in the past 90 days, if I haven't been in touch with Tony in the past 90 days, I find a way to get in touch.
Absolutely.
To bring value. It's like, hey, this thing happened, or look at this thing on your YouTube channel, or how can I promote your new book, or whatever. Like I'm finding ways to bring value and connect if I haven't been in touch with them for the past 90 days. But otherwise, dude, I could not talk to you for 4 years. And then if we did another show together, Young Not Dumb, let's go, man. How you doing?
Let's go. Absolutely.
We're back at it. Like I can just get back into it. But it's not great for networking strategies. So I find having that list of people, kind of the top people I want to stay in touch with, and then every 3 months at least I have to be in touch with them once.
Absolutely. I believe like when you provide a lot of value to people and you be of service to people, they're gonna want to like, you know, stay around you and stay in contact with you. So I definitely think, you know, the way you go about it is definitely very smart. I feel like it's very organic because you provide a lot of value. So it's like people want to definitely stay in contact with you.
Well, listen, some people are great at it and some people aren't. Brendan Burchard is great at it. I don't know if you know Brendan.
I follow him.
He invited me to his place in Puerto Rico last year for his home for an event, his private event. And then last week he sent me a picture of the picture that me and him took together a year ago on that day. He was like, 1 year ago today, love you, buddy. Like that's his message, right? It's like, oh, like I don't even think about that kind of stuff. He's so great at just remembering and the follow-up, and you know, I love that. But for me, I have to be strategic about it. Like I have to have it in my calendar or it's not going to happen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. One of the questions I like to ask everybody on my show, and I know you're going to like this because that's all you talk about is how to be successful, is what's your definition of success? And I know it changes over the years, but what's Evan Carmichael's definition of success?
You know, I don't focus so much on definitions. For me, I want to wake up and feel like today matters.
Yes, sir.
This is what I do. Like I wake up, I'm tired, I'm groggy, I'm like got stuff on my face, lines on my face, like I'm just getting started. I got to go to the bathroom. You know, I don't wake up and be like, yes, Thursday, woo, are we ready? Right? That's not it. So I wake up and then I look at my calendar.
Yes, sir.
And I look at what is going to happen today. So today I looked at my Movement Makers program, and I always get jazzed for those guys. And I look at you, and I look at other people who I've got lined up today. And it's like, I'm pumped to show up today.
Yes, sir.
I want to feel like today matters. Yes. I think that's the most important thing. If you wake up every day and then you do the thing that makes you feel like today matters, you're going to show up in a different way. You're going to be a lot more positive, have a lot more belief. Where if you wake up and you feel like, today doesn't matter. Like nobody cares if I show up or not. Nobody cares if I make a video or not. Nobody cares if I do a show or not. Today doesn't matter. If you have that every day, that's the path to depression. And that's where a lot of people are living. You know, a lot of people walk down the street. You know, most people feel like nobody actually cares if I show up or not today. So that's what I want to change. That's what I want to live. For me, that would be success for me. But also what I want to try to inject that into people, that, hey, you can make something today that you might want to show your grandkids. You can make something today that matters to somebody. And when you get addicted to that, it changes your whole life.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And I know that, you know, you have a whole day full of people. I just want to ask one more question if I have enough time.
Go for it.
Absolutely, man. I just want to ask, I know it's very important to ask, is there any way that I can be of service to you or anybody else that you know?
What episode number is this?
This is episode 25.
And where does it live? Is this Instagram, YouTube, what?
It's on Instagram. I have a few episodes on YouTube. I have Spotify and I have Apple Podcasts as well.
And how often are you doing the show?
I tried it. Well, the last 3-4 months, I was able to do 24 episodes. My first episode I did right during the pandemic, and then I moved. And then I was homeless for about 4 months. I did about 11 episodes in a hotel room. Then I finally just got my place in January 2nd, and I've been doing every episode. I did at least the last 15 episodes in the last 2 months.
I like it, dude. Okay, so
Sir.
What can you do for me? You can post this video on YouTube.
Absolutely.
And tag me or send it to Sandra so that will help share it out.
Yes, sir.
I need you making more videos.
Every day. Every day.
Daily video.
Every day. Yes, sir.
Daily IG live.
Absolutely.
With the guest or by yourself.
Absolutely.
IG live in the chat with Angela here is in the house. I want you to connect with her and have her on your show.
Absolutely, Angela. DM me. Absolutely. Let's get it.
I chat with Angela, DM him, and be on the Fly on the Wall show. And if you do all that, I'm coming back for episode 250.
Let's get it. Absolutely. I'm owe you to that, Evan, because I'll do 200
hold you to
episodes.
That, dude.
I'll do 200 episodes of value.
You got to go daily, and you got to have IG Live with Angela. Let's go, new friend. She's down. Absolutely. And then this is 25, you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You do that. When you get close, when you hit like 200, message Sandra again to say, Evan promised me number 250 is going to be with him again.
Absolutely.
And then give a little bit of time because my schedule gets crazy.
I know.
So when you're like at 200, message her, and then we'll plan for 250 special. We'll cheers you on your success. That's what you can do for me.
Thank you so much, sir. And I just want to say thank you so much for gracing me with your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being a special guest on the Fly on the Wall show, sir. I appreciate it.
Much love, man. Looking forward to it. Keep going.
Absolutely, man. Young, not dumb.
Young, not dumb. I love it.
All right, man.
All right,
thank you so much. Whoo! Wow. I just want to say, man, God is so good and the universe is beyond abundant, man. That was an amazing episode with Mr. Evan Carmichael himself, man. And you heard him, man. Angela, DM me, Angela. We're going to definitely kick it up. We're going to have a nice, amazing conversation, man. And as you can see, man, I was nervous. Whoever was watching the beginning, I was kind of nervous, man. But, here we are, man, after 25 minutes later. And, of course, that was one of the best conversations of my life, man. I'm so glad that I stuck with it. You know what I'm saying? And, wow, episode 250. You heard him. He said episode 250, he's going to be back. So if anybody that knows me, it's time to work. It's time to work, man. So I'm your boy, J.R. Lee. And, if you like my shirt, man, click the link in my bio, iamjrlee.com/shop. I got a lot of merchandise, man. I got my book, The Metamorphosis of Me, as well on that website. If you want to support the show, man, purchase something. I really, really, really appreciate it, man. I'm grateful. Got a lot of different, valuable merchandise on there, man. I'm all about, promoting positivity, reprogramming your mind through everything, all the content, even the merchandise that I create, man. So it's me, J.R. Lee, man, episode, I believe it's 25. It could be 26, man. What if I'm wrong? And it's really 26. That means I'm closer to 250, right? So another episode of the Fly on the Wall show, man. Peace.